Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. Our question today comes from Gregory Andrake, W2 Bravo Echo Echo. Good CW call sign. He has an interesting question. Says, Dave, I've been a ham since 1956, which is a long time. Greg, you've seen major changes in amateur radio technology. 1956, everybody was still using war surplus equipment. And, of course, everything was tubes. It would take another year before the transistor really started getting out into other things. Anyway, he is still searching for the best way to get an antenna into the trees as high as possible. Slingshot, fishing pole, the arm of an outfielder, drones are too expensive. Best wishes from Greg. Okay, let's talk about what he's trying to do. The normal method for pulling an antenna up into a tree is often to shoot a fishing line over the top of the tree. Now, it'll kind of fall down into the branches a little bit, but you'll be up above the bulk of the tree. Then to one end of that, you attach a nylon line, and you wrap it in such a way that it won't snag on the tree. And then you pull the nylon rope, like parachute cord or something, over the top. Then, to get your antenna up, you attach it to the end of that nylon rope, and you pull that up to where you've got it high in the tree, and then you tie off the nylon rope down here. If it needs to come down, untie that, pull it down. There are multiple opportunities to get stuck in the tree, okay? Multiple ways to get that fishing line over the top. I'm looking here at something from Electric Radio about an easy hang antenna that's available from ni4l.com. And it's a slingshot, but it's also got a fishing tackle on it so that you can pull the thing back when you're done and use it later. And it's the kind of slingshot, you hold it like this, but it's got a little pad that comes down here so it won't go down like this or go up like this as you pull the thing. Now, the first thing I want to talk about when getting a line over a tree is safety. Because if you use an arrow to shoot it over the tree, arrows go pretty far. They can go 100 yards easily. And if you put too much power into it, you'll snap the fishing line, and that arrow will go who knows where. And you can run into the real issues here. Is somebody unaware, somebody you are unaware of, 13 yards down where that arrow lands, there could be a tragedy awaiting you. I don't recommend the arrows for that reason, unless you can see way beyond the end of that tree and you have control for that period of time over where that arrow goes. Now, another thing that people do will use slingshots. You can use a slingshot like this one that has the tackle on it. You can go on Amazon and get them for $11 or $12. They're just rubber line, like a surgical cord or something like that, rubber line, and the classic slingshot. And in fact, you can even get the little ammunition for these things because they will shoot a considerable distance. The problem with slingshots in hunting is aim, which is almost non-existent. I mean, if you do hit something, you're lucky. But you have the identical safety problem you have with shooting an arrow. But the slingshot, one thing you could put in it, for example, is a tennis ball. Now, if you do that, it's not going to go as far, and if it does hit something, it's not going to be an issue too much. So you'd have your fishing yard or stuff, either you've got a reel where it can come off easily, or you've got it laid out like this on the ground, okay? And then you shoot that thing over it and make sure that the end of it doesn't go with it, okay? And then you've got the line up and you pull the stuff through and everything like that. That can work very well. There are, like I said, a variety of things on Amazon that you can get. I looked for tennis ball slingshot when I looked for these, and I found other kinds of slingshots as well. Now, the second thing I want to say about this is the tree. Okay, trees are pretty sturdy objects, except they aren't. The trunk of a tree is 90% dead wood. There's a little edge around the thing where the chlorophyll is doing its thing and moving between the leaves and the roots, okay? It's actually very thin all the way around. This is true on branches too. If you throw that up and do a lot of, and in the wind, for example, there's a lot of going back and forth on that piece of nylon line that's holding up your antenna, it'll eat down through that layer and into the tree. And it will cause that part of the tree to be exposed. And that's how insects and other disease vectors attack the tree. So these generally are kind of things that aren't put up for a very long time. If you're operating portable, that's fine, as long as you take everything out after you're done. If it's going to be a long time, you got to remember that the tops of trees move in the wind, and so you've got to have some elastic or something that can take up that slack. You don't want to use weights. Weights act like inductance. They lag in demand. You pull up the weight, and if it stops here suddenly, the weight will still keep going up and then come crashing down and can break a line. But if you put like elastic bands or something, that will act almost instantaneously, like a capacitor will act, and keep that tension the way it should be. So there's what I have to say about getting them. We'll put the link to this one in the bottom. Also, if you go to Amazon and look for tennis ball slingshots and see what you can find, there's all kinds of things out there that are not very expensive. Safety first. Be kind to the tree, because you can actually, if the insects or whatever get into that, you'll have a whole big branch of the tree that will die off, and that can be not a good thing. And thing we have to watch for here on the western slope of Colorado, even though we got a lot of rain this year, normally we don't. This is called an alpine desert. And we have two kinds of trees, juniper and pinyon pine. And the pinyon pine are desert trees, but they do need some water. If the beetles attack the tree, what the trees do is push sap at the beetles to push them right back out. The problem is, in a very dry year, there's no sap to push. And so in the dry years, the beetles get in any crack they can, and they will destroy a tree fairly quickly in a matter of a few weeks. So, again, I'm just warning you about keeping your trees healthy. Anyway, it's not just because I'm a Westerner and trees are rare. I know trees are everywhere back east, but out here where we are, trees are rare. So, there you have it. I hope that helps. Give it a try. Be very, very careful with the safety part of it. Make sure you know what's on the other side of the tree for a long way. And so you were talking about, a pitcher, somebody who can throw a ball up there. It would have to be a heavy ball, like a softball. Softball, not a softball, a regular hard baseball. Okay. And I've tried swinging these things like this and letting them go, but I never let them go at the right time. So be safe, but you can make it work. A lot of people do make it work. I'm repeating myself. So since I'm repeating myself, I will just say, if you have gotten to this point in the video, please go to dcastler.com/support and look for a way where you can help out, keep the lights on. And until we next meet, 73.